To the right. The one to the right. Hey guys, welcome to the Live Well, brought to you by Digital Sportsman, where we get together with our community and talk fishing. The show's fixing to start. We're getting everything ready. But in the meantime, we want to tell you about our fine partners that not only make this show possible, but are companies that we absolutely love and stand behind. Groove Fishing, changing the norm of tackle storage. Sonar Pros, specializing in high-end installations across all electronic brands. Go where the pros go. Lipsticker Fishing, specializing in putting clients on giant Lake Lanier bass. Bill Payne's Guide Service, fish with a legend on Lake Allatoona, seasonal smallmouth trips, or even get your sonar dialed in. Brooks Anderson Fishing, guide trips and educating today's anglers on Lake Lanier. Big League Charters, fish with a pro on Tellico, Fort Loudon, Watts Bar, and Chickamauga. Money Saver Lure Retriever, designed to break your lure free from almost any snag. Fishers of Hope, benefit fishing tournaments to help people in need. Serve IT, industry-leading IT services for your business. Change the way you manage IT. Turner Tire, Jasper, Georgia's most trusted family-owned tire center. Atlanta Safe House, the trusted source for safes and gun safes in Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama. And of course, Digital Sportsman, a new way to discover and book unforgettable outdoor experiences with local trusted guides. Go to fngo.com to get direct links to all our fine partners. Get ready, and let's talk fishing. All right, guys, we are live here at the Live Well this Thursday night. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you're watching on TikTok, we appreciate you guys too. What you guys think about that new intro video? I like it. Josh McKay did that for us. He always does a fantastic job. So I want to tell you guys, if you want to be a partner with us here at Fish North Georgia and get your company on that, you can advertise with us. Reach out to me, Danny, at fngo.com. We'll get you guys involved and see what we can do to help you guys promote your brand, grow your company, and put you in front of the most loyal, crazed, cult-like followers out there. Is that a good way to say it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we appreciate every one of you guys. Now, we're going to get talking. This good thing about that intro video is we can go right into the show. But if you want to know more about our partners, you can go to fngo.com, our website, and we got a link that says partners, and you can pull up right there, and it's got a link to every one of them's website. We're going to be adding that to the description on all our YouTube descriptions from our videos here on out. And also, I'm going to do that on the FNGO group page where we're going to have that. So we appreciate our partners, and we want you guys to join us as well. So got the TikTok going. We got the YouTube guys going. What's up, everybody? Rob Wroblewski, and he might still be on his way. He might have got caught in traffic. He was driving down from Tennessee. So hopefully he's here in a little while. But in the meantime, we got John Sarah right here. He's going to jump in. And then if Rob shows up, you're going to swing on over in there with Tim. Got Father Time to my right. And good old Tim, Mr. Married McGuire. Married man McGuire.
Absolutely.
Now. He is married. And he's loving life already. And so anyway, what we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to continue on at least until Rob gets here. What's up, Messick? All you guys, appreciate that on the intro. There's a crazy echo, Patricia Smith said. I don't know why there is a crazy echo. Not on us. She's watching on TikTok.
Oh, I don't know about
TikTok. Yeah, don't know about that. Don't know what to do about that one. It shouldn't be a crazy echo because it's tied into our StreamYard thing right there. So anyway, you guys just Real Michael says I don't hear an echo. So it might just be on your phone there. There was a couple of people on TikTok the other day said there was an echo. Eddie Hudson says, congratulations, Tim. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then Darren Moss said, just remember, Tim, once she says I do, that means I don't anymore.
Iron Dome.
Iron Dome, baby. Iron Dome.
Nah.
Let's see. Cameraman Cletus, pull that up right there. What's he say? Danny, how close are you to 180 grams of protein? Oh, she went out, went back in, good to go. All right, great, Patricia Smith. I'm got to be right on it.
You need to tell them what we had tonight.
So Kevin brought me some breadless chicken wings. There's also some summer sausage over there.
Yes.
But I have been good. Wedding cake kills the sex drive. What's up, Ryan Engel? All you guys out there on TikTok. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to talk about the tough bite here lately. There's a lot of guys came in the shop today that have fished, and it was tough. Everybody keeps saying the same thing. Fish pinned to the bottom, fish not doing what they normally do. And we even had crazy stuff about, we were talking about brim beds, and we've talked about it here on a couple past episodes, but I talked to some more guys in the shop today. The brim beds, like on, I will, Cletus, I'll keep it up, boss. Eric Flowers, 32, got a trail cam pic of a black bear cub in Middle Tennessee. That's pretty cool. It is that time. I don't put out my corn in my feeders around the shop. I can hunt right up here behind the shop. I don't put it out until at least the end of September, because if I put anything out right now, bears are going to absolutely tear it up. They'll tear it up. And I don't hunt bears. Don't want to feed them any more than I got to. But the interesting thing about the brim beds, okay, guys are finding brim beds this year a lot deeper than normal.
Oh, yeah.
Now, normally you can go to the back of a pocket, go somewhere shallow. You see all them tires sitting up there, loaded with brim. The bass are always near them. Makes it easy targets, especially if you guys like throw your big baits over there. I'm going to ask you what you throw at them in a second.
Yeah.
Wish we had a season here in our county. Yeah, problem though, Eric Flowers, with the bears, you got to drag one of them things. They ain't got nothing to hold on to. They ain't. But Fred Ashcraft finally not at work, wide open. Good. Jason
deal.
Nelson on TikTok. Good evening. See what I'm saying about these comments, Tim? They're going to be like, I'm going back and forth with it. That's what makes it fun. But they're finding brim beds in 15, 20, even as deep as 25 feet this year for some reason, and we don't know why. I don't have a guess or a clue as to why.
You think you think they know something we don't? It's coming in the weather? I mean,
Like building a hornet's nest or something down low?
yeah,
The hornet's nest
the old almanac type stuff. It's down low. If they're all getting offshore, maybe there's some sort of god-awful winter coming.
I don't know.
Food for thought.
Could be.
That's a good idea.
Could be. So we'll start with you, Kevin, since you're the senior person here.
About what?
Life in general and everything. No, about brim
It's
beds.
just good to be back.
It is good to be back. Kevin's like, man, no, I'm talking about brim beds. Coleman says it's probably too dang hot for him. But it may be, but Coleman, it's hot every summer.
Yeah, it's hot every summer.
What if you had to take a guess as to why the brim are bedding deeper this year? What would your guess be? He's thinking. FFS, Forward Facing Sonar's done pushed the brim out deep. Eric Flowers says it's those aliens the government told us was coming causing it.
I think there's been more big fish roaming the banks and not out deep, and so they're moving out deeper to take their beds.
You think so? I mean, that's as good a guess as anything.
That's
the wisest answer I've heard.
That's
good, man.
It's a good one. Whether it's true or not, it don't matter. It's because of Kevin and the way Kevin said it.
Dude, that was so confident and so accurate.
I love it.
I'm a believer now. It's like 2 feet. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, gone fishing with Ed. Now, listen to this, guys. This is what we're talking about. I found huge brim beds 30 feet deep in my local reservoir. I thought I was tripping. And and Luke Turner agrees with you. He says he agrees with your assessment of that. I've always had that question, is like, everybody's out scoping now. Are a lot more fish come? Is it making the fishing better coming up? And it could be right.
Well, wouldn't they be scoping? Wouldn't they be up shallower?
That's what I'm saying. Like
driving them shallower.
Driving them shallower. Yeah. Cody Campbell says lack of oxygen up in their normal places, maybe. That's a possibility.
Good scientific back.
Scientific. Tony said water temp was reading 94 on the lake he was on yesterday.
Ouch.
But it gets hot every summer.
Yeah, it does, but man, boy, 94 is hot. 94 is hot.
We haven't had the rain like we've had.
Not since it turned really hot.
Things down, yeah.
So it'd be interesting. But I mean, brim started going on bed, and Zach goes, "Dang, that's boiling." Absolutely, it is, Zach. Too many waves from boat traffic. But see, I could get with that Coleman on like Lanier, Big Lakes, but like
not these electric
only reservoirs. I think smallies and spots spawn deeper than we think, even in the southern lakes. We know for a fact that largemouth will spawn shallower. Spots are always deeper on our lakes.
How do we know they weren't spawning in 30 feet?
Always?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't.
I mean, you've got some that go shallow just like bass or anything else, and then you've got some that stay deep.
Yeah. I don't have an answer to that at all. But it is something that we're noticing.
How do we know they're just not taking over crappie beds and being lazy?
Well, I don't know.
You know what I mean? That's just.
I don't know. It's a good thing to think about, but it does change the way we're having to fish a little bit right now because you should. Cletus says he caught spot spawning on the south end in 16 to 20 foot this spring.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I would expect.
Yeah.
Pull up Ron Swinford's comment. You guys on TikTok, if you got a comment, throw it out there or a question, and we'll try our best to answer it. One of the best days fishing I ever had came with water temps that started at 95 and got up to 97 that day. Caught fish ultra shallow.
I believe that.
Is that Rob texting me?
Yeah.
What's Rob saying?
He said he needs an invite.
Oh, he's not. He thinks
so he can.
Oh, I thought he
Get
was
him on
coming in. I thought he was driving down. So anyway, handle that for me if you can. 5150 is the password for my for my phone. For everybody out there in the world that wants to know, if you want to get on my phone, it's 5150.
They can answer all the calls.
They can answer all the calls. And old Chad from India, they can answer him and Mr. Spammerist that call me every day. Throw the BFS when it gets hot. Justin Malcolm said, well, here's the thing is like John is a big swim bait guy. And I would imagine you always go up looking for those beds shallow anyway to target them. And now they're not there. So how do you make that transition knowing that now you got to change your password to OU812?
Hey, mine's the same as his, 5150. It has been for years. We looked at each other weird one day.
Yep.
When we discovered that because we never talked about it. It just was. It is what it is.
That's because Van Halen is the greatest rock group to ever be on this earth.
Absolutely.
100%.
Okay, I've got an invite.
Yeah, pull that invite and we'll keep talking. I want you to keep talking. They can't see it if you pull it up right here. But anyway, so now normally you'd be throwing something up shallow, and I know you still like to fish shallow, but if you knew that you were fishing brim beds in 20 foot of water as a swim bait, glide bait guy, how would you how's it change what you're doing?
It doesn't really change what I'm doing. It just changes how I'm doing it, really.
Right?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm just letting it sink more.
You're just letting it get down there.
Pretty much, yeah. Add a little bit more weight if I have to.
Well, that makes sense. I can still read the comments. Let's see. Tony Collin, but it's weird this year. I didn't get my normal blow-ups on the buzz bait like I usually do during the bluegill spawn using bluegill colored skirts. And Ron says that great day he caught those fish on a small Texas rig. So I totally can get that. Stephen Sturgeon says, fishing in shallow water in Illinois, I have found that during the heat of the day, I can sometimes find big ones laying under the biggest isolated lily pads. Ain't it crazy? He's in Illinois and he's talking about lily pads. We associate that with Florida and everything.
Yeah, but I'm from Okeechobee, so I know what kind of lily pads are lily pads and what kind is silver dollar grass.
You're right. I got you.
Know what I mean?
I got you. I don't know what you just hit, but you hit something. But anyway, so it is different.
That's the way I sent it to him in email.
Yeah, you just take a picture and send it to him via text. So you have to close that off.
Oh.
But don't close off the whole StreamYard. There you go. Yeah, hey, listen, we're figuring it all out. All right, let's jump back on some of these comments while we're figuring this, trying to get Wroblewski in here. Any of you guys throw a front runner with your walking topwater baits? Kevin?
No, I do not.
And why do you not?
Don't have the confidence in it. I've tried it, but that was probably 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
We used to run the front runners, but no, I'd rather just throw the fluke or a topwater.
Yeah, I've never used one. How about you? Do you even throw
I keep it
with that?
simple, man.
Huh?
I keep it simple.
You keep it simple. Tim, do you throw a front runner?
No.
No. So we can't give you a really good thing on that. Terry Thornton. Hey, good looking guys, watching with Junior and Vanessa. And she says, congratulations, Tim.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's very awesome.
Hey, babe.
Hey, baby, if we miss it, that's what I was going to say to her. I was going to wait and let you do it first.
Thank you.
I thought you needed to say, hey, babe, first.
She keeps saying 5150, and I don't know why, but now I understand.
You know what 5150 is?
It's your password?
It is password, but you know what it stands for?
No.
It's a at least in California, it's a penal code for somebody that's crazy and flipped out. That's what 5150 is. It's a police code. Now, is that the same in Georgia, Tim?
No, in Georgia it's 1096.
1096.
Yeah.
That don't sound as cool.
It don't sound as good.
It does not sound as cool as California's. Subjects 5150, and you're like, just a little off.
5150 right there. All right, so let's try to jump back on these real quick while we're waiting on Rob to get here. Luke Turner wants to know, what's the difference between a glide bait and a Magnum fluke fishing it the same way? And since you're that guy, I'm going to let you answer that one. It really ain't a lot of difference.
There ain't much difference. It's honestly just the presentation of the bait for the time of the day,
Yeah.
time of the year, whatever they want to eat. I mean, I have days where, you burn it and that chop style doesn't work. So I have to throw a giant fluke.
Yeah.
And when I throw a fluke, it's like a 9-inch fluke.
You ain't throwing the 5-inch or no. You're not a fluke junior.
I got an 8/0 hook hanging on to a 9-inch soft plastic that I'm banging around.
Yeah, that's awful fun.
It's pretty good.
Tim Hancock says the front runner is the bomb. And a lot of guys will throw it. A front runner can work really well when they're schooling, but not something I use that much. David Weaver says, I like to run a front runner on a popper. And but then DP's fishing misadventures agree with Father Time on the front runner. Tim posted the other day on Facebook about it. That's what made me ask Michael Hefner. And the Braves are trailing 3-1. And yeah, you're right. Somebody mentioned nobody wants Ozuna.
Hey, I got Rob here.
Hey, there you go, Rob. All right, so let's pull Rob in. Hey, dude, I thought you were driving down here.
No, I said that because my wife had PT and stuff like that. I wasn't going to be able to.
Okay, well, that's what happens when I look at a text message and I just read it and go, okay, Rob's coming.
It was probably written in cursive.
You know what? I left my phone at the house and I set my alarm. And then I went ahead to go walk the dogs. And all of a sudden I come back. I'm like, oh, crap, I got to be on a podcast.
It works.
I've got Danny's phone back here because it was dead. Okay. And so everything I just sent you, Rob, was like picking with one finger. So
yeah,
we've made it.
And do me a favor, Tim.
Yes.
Will you turn hit that volume high on that computer in there so we can hear Rob? Because I've got the sound piping into you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right there on the top. You know where it's at? No, on the keyboard. Look on the keyboard, top all the way. You'll see high, low up in the top right-hand corner of the top row. So you can go higher or lower. So just that way we can hear you. There you go. So it's maxed out.
It's maxed out.
So anyway, Rob, glad you could join us.
Yeah.
And I might switch that over here in a second out here. And I'll do this when I ask Rob this question. We're talking about brim beds. So down here, and you've been fishing all over the country, but down here, what we've noticed this year is the brim are bedding a lot deeper, even out to 20 foot. And they're not, normally you could go into a pocket back of a cove, see all the tires out there, brim sitting in it. We're not seeing that around here this year. So I want to know if that's what you're seeing when you're fishing your tournaments in the NPFL, or when you're out there just guiding on your lakes, are you seeing the same thing? Are you seeing something totally different?
Well, I haven't even been fishing since I've been back from St. Lawrence, to tell you the truth. So I haven't really got to see any of that. Typically, when I see brim beds, they're usually up shallow for the most part, and they do tend to go deep for sure. But I haven't been out to kind of seen that from my own two eyes. The lakes down in Georgia, I know, like when I fish Notley and stuff, brim beds tend to, they tend to bed in deeper docks or shallow docks, either one. But usually get behind the docks, you usually see them a lot of times bedding, or out in like points and stuff like that. But they have to be in like sandy bottom and stuff like that for the most part. But is that what you've been seeing lately, Danny?
We haven't seen them. Like we were, I've been talking to people that's fished the electric only reservoirs around here, Lake Lanier, Allatoona, and it just seems like it's a common thing. John was talking about it. Tim, I don't know about you over there in Rome, if you've seen anything like that.
They're all, it's just shallow water all year round.
They're shallow. Yeah. So you're not fishing Highland Reservoir stuff over there. You're in that muddy,
different critter,
muddy one for sure. But Captain Jay Morgan in Greenville, South Carolina is in the house, and we appreciate you joining us. He says, I'm seeing that up here for sure. Been drop shotting crickets. When you've got to drop shot crickets to get down to the brim bed, something's different. And so we were talking before you came on. We're trying to figure out why they're different. Gone Fishing with Ed said they're deep in the Clayton County reservoirs. So it's just something that we're seeing, and we're just kind of trying to figure out, because a lot of guys target, especially for largemouth, they target brim beds this time of year. What's left or for the last, couple months, but it's just we're not seeing it.
You asked me a question?
I was just talking to you, man.
Oh,
This is when you're supposed to go drop some wisdom like, yeah, that is strange, Danny.
well,
That
here's the
is
thing:
strange.
the brim are pretty much done bedding for the most part.
They
So
are, but
yeah.
it's just something different. Everybody's talking about the fishing being different this year. Have you noticed that in the lakes you fished?
I mean, the lakes that I've been competing with without forward-facing sonar, you tend to figure it out, during practice. But I don't know. I mean, I know one thing for sure: the fish have really become accustomed to forward-facing sonar.
Okay.
Big time. I mean, if you're not casting like 80+ feet at them, they're not going to bite. I mean, some are, but for the most part, it's not like it was years ago when it first got announced. Fish have really become accustomed to it, the sound of the beam and stuff. You guys know David Dudley. He said that on one of the podcasts or whatever that he was on, that he noticed that one time when he was in Florida, he went out shallow and went swimming, and someone else was on the boat, and they said, "Hey, face the beam," and he was about 80+ feet away, and he said he can hear the ticking sound. So you can only imagine what the fish can hear. So I mean, they just become accustomed to a lot of stuff, and they're changing. So while they are adapting to our technology, we got to adapt with the fish as well.
See, that's a smart answer. We didn't come up with an answer that smart when we were talking about it before he got on here.
No.
But you didn't, it's crazy. What's up, cranking and yanking? But Darian Moss says, I done told y'all forward-facing sonars done messed them up. So I get that. But it is, so we think when we talk forward-facing sonar, we talk bass. And we don't think how it could mess up another species. And yes, cranking and yanking is our resident, I can't stand forward-facing sonar viewer, and we love him and we appreciate him, and we don't hold it against him that he's from Louisiana and all that. But that's an interesting thought that even the brim and everything are like, hey, something's up. Something's beating us. It is a possibility.
It is. Yeah, I mean, it could be a mixture of a bunch of things. I mean, we've gotten some really hot weather. Have you noticed that? It's been hot. It wasn't hot last year like this. I mean, just so fish are pushing. They're going to go deeper. They are. I mean, historically, that's what they do. So
maybe that is the answer. Maybe it is. So, all right. So you guys know how this works. If you guys got a question, you throw it out. We're going to answer it. Jonah, my buddy Jonah from over there in Hickory Log Land.
Good old Jonah.
Yep. Good dude. What's everybody's go-to top water in the AM? And I'm going to let you answer that first, Rob. And let's just say you're on your home lakes in Tennessee.
Like a top water spook or just a regular popar.
Going with the popar and everything. Yeah. Okay.
Usually in the back of docks and stuff like that. Usually because the big fish roam around shallow in the back of docks, chasing brim. It's just that's what they do during the summer too. So.
Okay, Tim, what is your go-to early morning top water?
Buzz bait over where I fish.
Buzz bait.
Yeah.
Which is my choice. What about you there, Mr. Glide Bait?
A wake bait usually. Or
wake bait.
Shad.
What are you throwing? What kind of wake bait you throwing?
Usually a big old rat or
a damn rat.
A buka wake bait.
Buka wake bait. You and you rat guys right there. What about you, Father Time?
Chug bug or a buzz bait.
Chug bug or a buzz bait. I like the buzz bait. And what I'm so proud of every one of you guys, none of you said a whopper plopper. And that makes me happy. Just letting you know.
We're Americans.
We're Americans right there. And it's Trump's fault that the brim are bedding deeper this year. So, we got to blame Trump. That's what they'll do in the news anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gone Fishing with Ed says, and I'll get to some I missed above him, global warming is going to change fishing more than forward-facing sonar ever will. Possibly. But I think we can adapt to that. And then what was that right above him? I saw a comment. Randy B. How about this? We'll get Rob's take on this. Hit Steve Sturgeon right there, right above him. Randy Blockett says too many people are fishing and it's causing the fishing sport to crash. What's your take on that? Because I know you're not shy on your opinions, Rob.
I mean, dude, he's kind of right about that. I mean, I don't think it's crashing. I think just fish are adapting. I mean, they're not stupid. I mean, some are. I mean, but in reality, listen, think about it. Like, fish are adapting to the technology. Talk about like baits in the past that are like forgotten. in a sense, because new technology, new baits have came out, and you catching a ton of fish with that. Then another generation of baits are coming out that's similar to that thing. Like, I mean, let's put this like a chatterbait, for instance. You know, it became the original chatterbait. It was all over the place, and now you got the jackhammer, which has a steady motion. There's other companies that try to mimic that and stuff like that. And, you know, just baits are changing because, you know, fish are getting attached to that certain bait, and then they're going to, you know, steer off of it. And then, you know, once you tweak something different, then, oh, okay, this is something different they haven't seen. It's just, yeah, there's a lot more people fishing out there, and it is, you know, they're pounding lakes, especially tournaments. Tournaments don't really help, especially during the summer, in my opinion. But with the pressure at the same time, fish are just adapting to what we're figuring out.
Okay, good answer. So I see in the comment section, Ron Swinford was a buzzbait and two other ones. And then you got Baby Torpedo, a buzz toad in the AM, Picasso Toad Slayer buzzbait, Kane Walker, Justin Malcolm loves a rat. He loves a rat. And then I'll get to Darian's question here too. And then, but I like Cody Campbell's comment. Our fisheries are going to slowly become more like Japan, extremely tough, and you have to finesse. It's quite possible.
Yeah.
Darian Moss wants to know, Rob, have you fished the fuzzy bait yet?
Yeah.
Trying to talk myself into getting some. What's your take on the dice/fuzzy baits?
I mean, I make my own. They're not that hard to make.
No.
But yeah, they work. They really do. It's something different. I mean, I used them a little bit when I was up in St. Lawrence. And then I use them down here and these lakes as well.
So do you like the dice style, or and did you notice? I noticed at ICAST a lot of the new products were simply like Cincos with some strands in them. You know, everybody's kind of mimicking that new thing. It seems like everybody's got a new bait in that style and all that. Which ones? I mean, you said you make them.
I make my own. I don't buy any. I just look online and see what people have. I mimic it. I buy the stuff for it, and I just build them myself. So I have different patterns and stuff like that I have on them. They're a lot different than you see on the market, but I'm not going to expose that. So
sure you are. You know how it works on this show, Rob. We're going to have a talk about your massages too one of these days. Maybe not tonight. I know there's some stories behind that.
I got some stories to tell you.
I know you do. Good-looking guy massaging older women. I know you got some stories right there. We'll get on that though.
Mm-hmm.
Crankin' and Yankin says too many tournaments. Really, no doubt about that. Every weekend, hundreds of boats on the water.
You know, global warming's been happening for 100 years or better, though.
Yeah.
So fish have been adapting.
I guess so. I mean, I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. But you mentioned, what do you think about when somebody says there's too many tournaments?
Well, yeah, it's increased. I think COVID really jacked that up too, because there wasn't much for people to do. So they went out and bought fishing rods and boats and went fishing.
Yeah.
So that has increased it. But
it could be.
They adapt. It's like anything else that goes on. Hunting, you know, there's more deer today than there was last year.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And, you know, we know how a deer can jump into a metropolitan area and survive. Let's see. How about this? Oh, and he also adds, and since the kayak craze is getting worse, which that doesn't bode me well, Cranking and Yanking, because Saturday I'm going to make my official
He's right.
My official voyage on the kayak over on Latham.
His big splash
My
into the
big
kayak
splash.
world.
That's what's
Hopefully
going to
not.
happen when I fall my ass out of the boat. That's what's
Hope
going to
not.
happen. Captain Jay Morgan says it's been declining ever since the COVID spike and the license sales anyway. Fishing pressure is changing everything, but more people are fishing than are actually catching. I think they just see more baits and more boats than anything and then shift patterns. What's your take on that comment, Rob?
Yeah, he's right on that. The pressure is changing everything. Fish are, like what Kevin said, they're just adapting.
Okay, well, how about this? Since the fish are adapted, how has it changed your approach? And Jason Nelson on TikTok says, too pressured for sure, 3 to 5 tournaments a week on Chateau. And it's not a very big lake. It's not big.
We shouldn't be having that many tournaments on that lake to begin with. I don't know. I mean, it's just people are going to do it. People are going to go out and fish and stuff like that. I think the one good thing about MLF that I like is for BBT, they do the way right there, the fish, and then they release it right there. I think that itself is a positivity to these fish. You got to think about it. All these fish getting caught, getting released at that one spot. I mean, there's so many fish out in the lake, but think about how much they're taking out and releasing out in that main spot and stuff. And it's just the tournaments are really putting a stample on the pressure as well. So,
well, okay. So is there a solution for that?
I don't know if there's a solution for that because it's never going to stop unless they do a restriction on, on permitting and stuff like that for events. So, and here's the thing too, Danny's like, okay, so like, what if they have a restriction on permits? You can only allow one permit, one organization per lake this weekend, that kind of thing. Well, then everybody's just going to go ahead and do the slot limit, like 2 bass over 15, or I don't even know what the slot limit is in Georgia, but I mean, there's still going to always be tournaments. The one thing I do like about what Hammond does, they do the digital tournaments like that. That needs to be more of a thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mark Johnson says, I think they're just getting used to seeing the common baits getting thrown, and that's a possibility too, making it a little bit tougher.
Does Hammond furnish the weigh scales?
They do.
Yeah.
You go to Hammond's, and when Tim has them, you go to Hammond's early. You get your scale. The cool thing about that is then you can go ahead and you can launch. You can go ahead and put in the water, go to your spot, be ready, but your lines can't be into a certain time, and them scales don't open till a certain time.
Why doesn't some big company with ICAST come up with some type of a scale that's money friendly, let's say?
Well, money friendly. I know now, Rob, have you heard, isn't somebody one of the major trails going to start doing stuff with Bubba scales?
I believe so. I mean, they have the best, the best scale on the market, hands down.
Right.
And I know, like, when you do weigh in the fish, it sends into, to the organization that they know what's on the fish live catcher. I don't see in NPFL, we have an app that we plug in and stuff. So,
yeah. Hey, I want to ask you a question about that since you brought it up. Everybody loves being able, and I do it because I check to see where you and the guys I know are at. But a lot of people are like, the TV coverage isn't good, and you guys have tried to check and tried to make the TV coverage better, get more people to watch it. But I honestly sometimes here at the shop find myself just pulling up the website, scrolling down, seeing where you guys are at, and I don't spend as much time watching. Do you think that's a positive, negative, having that thing where we can just check it if you're trying to get more people to watch? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm busy. I just want, where's Rob? All right, Rob's in 30 seconds. All right, and I go back to work.
Yeah, if you're busy, I mean, I don't see why. I mean, I do that with all the other leagues.
Yeah,
Yeah. And there's a lot of guys that don't really plug in the right weights. Like when I was at New York, I mean, I was in the Canada side, so I had absolutely no service at all whatsoever. So, like, for instance, going to day one, which was pretty funny. I didn't have service all day, and then I got back, and then I finally plugged in my weights and stuff like that. And then when I got back to the weigh-in, I talked to my wife, and she goes, I was sick to my stomach because all I saw was 0, 0, 0, 0. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're in first place. Like, whoa. So,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
How was the fishing up there, honestly? Like, tell me like you and I would be talking here in the shop, because it looked like it's just phenomenal.
It's the best. I mean, I haven't been all over the country, but I've had the pleasure. I've been blessed to see a lot of lakes, in my life and stuff. And St. Lawrence River, it is truly special. I mean, like what everybody says, you got to see it for yourself. You got to do it for yourself. It's just, there's so much water. There's so much things you can do. Different times of the year, fish, adjust, they change, they go deep, they go up shallow stuff. And, the time that we were there, they were still spawning. I caught most of my fish on spawners and stuff like that I marked. But, like even you can go like out in those big islands out there, like Gallo and Duck Island. I went out there during practice. I mean, there were like, you can see roamers, like 5-6 pounders just cruising. You just throw a drop shot or a Ned rig or a tube, and they just eat it right away. I mean, there's no hesitation. It is one of the coolest places I ever got to see. You can drift out there and catch them in like 20, 30 feet of water. You can fish shallow, boulders. I mean, the water's crystal clear. It looks like the Bahamas. It was pretty cool, man.
All right, so John he's a glide bait, swim bait guy here. A guy like him that likes to throw those kind of baits, can he have success up there with those smallmouth like that?
Matter of fact, I did. On a couple of days during practice, I threw the glide bait. I threw the glide bait everywhere I go all the year long. It's one of my go-to baits, especially to lure big fish. But I wasn't really getting the attraction on it. They were just more kind of like either running away from it, they weren't attacking it. Like the fish here in Georgia and like Tennessee and stuff like that, they love the glide bait. I catch giant smallmouth with the glide baits and stuff up here. But for there, I got bit. Don't get me wrong, especially in St. Lawrence River. But there was a lake that I got to fish up there a couple times called Black Lake, which is parallel to the St. Lawrence River. One of my good friends, Rick Mitchell, he lives on Black Lake. So I was able to stay up there for the whole, 10 days I was up there for. And a couple of days before I started practice, I threw the glide bait on that lake. And dude, I smashed a largemouth. It was crazy. They'd never seen a bait like that before. And I must have caught like 40, 50 fish on a glide bait. And they're all like 3 to 5 pounders.
Now you're welcome, John, to jump in. When we're getting this glide bait and ask him questions on that.
What kind of glide bait were you throwing?
Yeah. What kind of glide bait were you throwing? Straight to the point.
I was throwing a clutch Baby Boss all white albino because that was Black Lake, and Black Lake says Black Lake because the water is black. It's dark, so you can see that bait a lot better. Like a chartreuse one would work, or a white one, something that's bright that you can see, and then the fish can relate a little bit better. Dude,
that's awesome.
It is freaking sick. That lake is like never seen that thing before. I was boat flipping 5-pounders on the boat, like one after another. My buddy Rick was with me on the back of the boat, and he goes, "Dude, you can catch them with that thing." I'm like, "Dude, these fish are stupid. They'll bite anything."
Dude, that's sweet.
So see, now we got to get you up there and let you experience that.
I'm game.
You game?
I guess.
Somebody
else drives.
We got somebody else drives. It is a long way. Atlanta Safe House. Good evening, y'all. Hope everyone had a blessed day. Made it a little late tonight. Hey, glad you could join us. And guys over on the YouTube side, if I missed your question or comment, type it again because there's a lot of them going on. But I'm going to start with cranking and yankings up there. Right above that, right there. It says, does the state, parish, you can tell he's from Louisiana because he said parish, / owner of a body of water charged to have tournaments on a given lake? And if not, they should, and you'll see a lot less tournaments. Here, and Rob, you can jump in on Tennessee. Here you got to get a permit if it's a core lake, or sometimes the private lakes, they will charge a small fee, but it is not a very big fee. I think maybe $80-100 on a big lake, on a core lake, maybe, Tim. I haven't done one in a while.
Something like that.
Something like that. How does it work up there in Tennessee if you guys want to throw a tournament?
When we throw tournaments, for the most part, the bigger ones, I think they do have permits and stuff like that. I don't know how much they cost, but a lot of the Monday nighters, the Tuesday nighters, the Wednesday nighters and stuff like that, they do the slot limit. So that's that's pretty much that's all we do up here.
Okay. I do know a lot of guys will throw and they'll advertise, hey, 10-boat tournament on Lake Lanier. And you don't have to have a permit on Lake Lanier for a 10-boat tournament. I think it's once it gets above 10, you have to have a permit. Jason Nelson says you have to get permits in North Carolina. But I think a lot of guys advertise that. And then when their buddies show up, that 10-boat tournament jumps into a 20, 25-boat tournament. And then they just basically call each other before the weigh-in and say, hey, do you got X? If not, don't weigh in. That's kind of a way to get around having to pay that. And it happens more often than not. Darian Moss had a question. How has your fishing changed? And this doesn't scroll off, Tim, but he want to know, how has your fishing changed, your style of fishing with the NPFL with the no forward-facing sonar, as opposed to, when you lived here in Georgia, everybody scopes and all that. And last year you scoped in the NPFL. This year, have you changed any?
Yeah, I've changed a lot. I just fish more shallow. I like this, more of a visual, like sight fisherman and stuff. And so besides Santee, Eufaula, and besides those two lakes, I basically sight fished a lot of my fish. St. Lawrence River, Lake Norman, when I was in Douglas, I was able to see them. I was throwing the glide bait up there. So yeah, I've just decided to fish a lot more shallow this year, more power fishing. The more casts, I feel like the higher percentage you got, to catching fish and stuff. And the way our tournaments have been this year, it's kind of been like either it's a flipping or a power fishing tournament. That's how it's usually won. Besides the St. Lawrence River, which most of those fish were caught on beds or roamers and stuff like that. So,
Okay. Steven Sturgeon says the catch photo release, like the kayak guys do, is the most fish-friendly, economical format. That is. There's still things you can mess up on, because I do know that somebody put in a comment about the catch boards having certain things they needed added to it because people can manipulate the fish a little bit with their hands and all that. But let's see, Hunter Fishing, pull that comment up right there. Yeah, that right there. Most concerning thing to me is 5 or 6 years ago in the fall and winter, I could get on a large school. Multiple weeks they would be there. All the guys are talking about how those days are done. Have you noticed anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, I can't answer that. I have not seen really a big difference, to be honest. I mean, maybe it depends on what lake you're at. I mean, what lake does he fish?
Well, herring, they're going to be moving. They're not.
Well, the herring, they're going to be moving. That's true. Yeah, it does. That's a good question.
Yeah, if he fishes like Lanier and stuff like that, yeah. I mean, they're going to be moving. They're going to be finding the bait. I mean, that's how they've, started adapting. But you got to ask him like what lake, he's talking about that he fishes all the time. That's like that.
Okay, fair enough. Put that in the comment section. Atlanta Safe House talks about wanting to get into the electric only world. Hey, jump on, not come out, but get in touch with me. I'll get you set up with that. There's a lot of great electric only clubs out there. And some of them got some sure enough hammers. Oh, some of these electric only clubs, these guys could fish with anybody out there, and you got to beat them guys, but it's still fun. Still fun. Coleman Jones or Cody Campbell, one right up that. Him and they both got the same question. All right, so pretty much Cody Campbell wants to know, for someone going up north, what would you give as a basic foundation to locate smallmouth bass?
Okay, so this time of the year, a lot of those smallmouth are out deep. I think Bassmaster is having their opens at St. Lawrence River right now, so it's taking 26 to win. But I'm pretty sure those guys are, fishing deep. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of smallmouth that they roam shallow pretty much all year long. It's weird about how that river works. From what I've been told from a bunch of people, in the beginning of the year when they allow, New York has these time periods where they don't allow you to fish for target bass, and then Canada does the same thing as well. But they bed usually right away. Like first thing when the ice breaks and stuff like that, those fish move up shallow and they chase baits. Then they start spawning, and then they move offshore for a few weeks and they start coming back up. And then usually they get back in schools and start roaming as well before they go back deep for most of the summer. And then once it starts cooling off again, they start moving back up shallow in schools and feed up and get fat for the winter time. So it's pretty cool how the cycle works up there. I've kind of, over the last couple of years fishing up north and got to see different times of the seasons, what they do and stuff. It's pretty unique what these smallmouth can do.
Rob, when you say deep, what kind of footage are you talking about?
Say that again.
When you say deep, what kind of footage are you talking about? 20, 30, 40 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think
they deep. They're similar to like catching spots. You know what I mean? You get like a couple roamers roaming in like 90 feet of water. I don't know. I mean, you could probably target them that deep, but for the most part, it's usually 20 to 40 feet is the deep part. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think a lot of people realize how clear the water is up there.
It is like I explained earlier.
Ridiculous.
It looks like Bahama water. It is so clear. Yeah, it's crazy.
So everybody in Georgia is like, we got really clear water. Even when I went to Michigan, like Lake Michigan was ridiculously clear. The rivers that we crossed up there were, and I wasn't at St. Lawrence, but just I think a lot of them places up north, the clearest water in Georgia is dirty water up there. And that's about right. I mean, it's that clear, ain't it?
Yeah, it is that clear. You can cruise and look down, and then you can see all the white spots. And you're like, and you look at the GPS, you're running like 30, 40 feet of water. That's how clear it is. Yeah.
It is. We was on the back of that boat, and I thought we were getting ready to this is on Lake Michigan. I thought we were going to hit some rocks. I'm seeing these big old boulders. You look at a boulder on Lake Lanier, you're about to hit it. And that guy goes, dude, that rock's 35 foot deep. I'm like, it's that clear. It just messes you up. Now, Coleman Jones, and Coleman, if I don't say this right, you can type it again, but he wanted to know, I think he's getting ready to head to the St. Lawrence. Scroll up above Jeremiah's comment, if you don't mind. Right there. I got it right there. What's one tip you would give before going up to the St. Lawrence to help be better prepared?
One tip, one big tip to be better prepared. Make sure you bring enough oil, enough, backup batteries, just enough like supplies and stuff like that. Because when you're running out there in big water and doing long distance runs, just make sure you got all your safety stuff. Make sure you got your rope and anchor because that's required up there. Just make sure you look at all the regulations, all the you got to get a Canada license besides getting a New York license. There's a lot to it, when you go up to the St. Lawrence River. You're fishing two different countries, United States and Canada. So they require different licenses and stuff. So make sure you look at that. Make sure you look at the, I know like in Canada, you're not allowed to power pull down in Canada at all. In the US, you can power pull down. So make sure you look at that. So there's different regulations, especially what size boat you have as well. It depends on how big of a rope that you need, how long of a rope you need, the weight of the anchor. I mean, there's a lot of crap that you got to figure out before going up there. That's how I would do it, approach it. So.
I didn't even think about all that stuff.
No.
You don't, and I know a lot of guys from North Georgia make that trip up north, whether it be St. Lawrence or somewhere else, just to go fun fishing. And they do talk about that, there's a Canada section and all that, but I didn't realize there were like so many differences.
Would you recommend they hire a guide? At least for a day?
For the first time going up there?
Yeah.
I mean, so you can kind of get like familiar with it, but yeah, I would hire a guide. I mean, I might guide up there next summer, so you can hire me. So
that's right. He is. He's thinking about expanding his range and all that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, Dave J. Big Bait John's in the house. He was just sitting here, and I was sitting there thinking, I was thinking Rob was coming down, and I was like, well, Rob ain't here. Just jump on. I was supposed to send Rob the link. I didn't know. Fishing with Jordan 431 on TikTok wants to know, should you throw a glide bait under trees or in open water? And you can answer that first, Rob, and then John, since you're a big bait guy, you can answer that.
100%.
How do you throw yours? 100%?
Yeah. Those two different ways. Yeah. Open water. I mean, if you're scoping, you can see them cruising up in the high water column, throw a glide bait. They'll come up and eat it. Same thing with, throwing in Lanier, for instance. There was a couple times I caught a couple 5-pounders, largemouth, throwing a glide bait, and I would sink it down to the brush or to the standing timber and float it out, and you see just a big one come up and eat it. So, I mean, yeah, that glide bait, you can throw it anywhere. You just make sure if you get hung up, make sure you have a lure retriever to get it out.
That's right. Money saver, lure retriever. All right. So what about you?
I agree with the same thing, man. You got to match your parallels, and if you're not casting to the fish, you're not going to catch fish.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got to fish it everywhere.
Oh, I like it. That's good. Let's see. How about this? Aaron Parker wants to know. I run a 2022 Yamaha F150 or F150. Can I run a lithium cranking battery? Does anyone know? I've gotten 50-50 responses anytime I've asked anyone from Yamaha. Yeah,
I mean, you can. Personally, I would use an AGM battery. Lithiums tend to, unless the lithium battery is like, if that company Yamaha guarantees that lithium battery that you can use on an engine, because if it's like some random company that they don't like allow, and if something happens to your engine, they're not going to warranty it if it's under warranty. Yeah. So I mean, just to be safe, I would run like an AGM cranking battery. That's what I do. I have lithiums. I got a trolling motor lithium, and then I got one that uses my electronics. So, but I have an AGM that charges or that starts my boat, does my aerators, power poles, and that kind of thing.
Okay. Georgia Yak Angler says, since we're talking glides, any tips would help. I feel like the bait splashes too much and spooks the fish. So, Rob, I'll let you go there first. Any tips to help him have more confidence in the glide bait?
Yeah, I understand that, making a loud noise and whatnot when you're throwing the thing and landing in the water. So you have to just fish it a bunch of times to kind of get used to like how it lands and stuff. I mean, the first couple times you're probably going to make mistakes. Having the right setup is crucial. The pound test, I use about 20 to 25 pound fluorocarbon. The type of reel, I would do like a 6-4 or 5-4 gear ratio, like a 7.4 to 7.6 length rod, medium heavy or heavy, with a faster tip. So depending on what kind of glide bait you use, how it wobbles right and left. Casting as many times and trying to, do it precisely. The more times you do it, the better you get at it. Keep yourself distance from it. So if you feel like fish are a certain feet, make sure you cast way past them so you won't spook them off. But it's like trial and error. The more times you throw a glide bait, the better you get. I remember the first couple of times I kind of struggled at it, and then I just kept chugging along. And then I like I said, I throw that glide bait everywhere through the United States. I've caught fish all through the country with it. It works everywhere pretty much that you can go to. So, you just practice. Practice makes better.
That's right. What about you, John?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're just listening to what he's saying.
I lost TikTok. I got confused. I was reading those comments.
Dude, think about what I'm doing the lunch break today, and I'm by myself. I got them blown up. But tips for having somebody get confidence on a glide bait, because I know that's your specialty.
Does the splash make too much noise?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so, because, at the end of the day, what are fish doing? If they're deep, they're looking up.
Right.
So you want to give them something to look at, and as soon as that thing hits the water, if you twitch it once or twice and it looks like a fish, then.
So you don't think the splash messes anything up?
Not necessarily.
How many times have you thrown though, and the minute it hits the water, fish is on it?
How many times have you guys been goofing off making noise?
Yeah.
And you guys start whacking
Got the
them
radio cranked up in the boat.
Man.
Yeah, I don't catch fish, so I don't know.
Well, you don't fish.
C-Mix on TikTok. I have plenty. I don't throw it often. First of all, I appreciate you joining us tonight. And Justin Copley says the splash is part of the appeal.
I agree.
Yeah, I get that. Now, Rob, jumping up to Cranking and Yanking's question. Any chance of the NPFL going to a catch, weigh, and release platform? And he thinks if they do that, they'd be on top. What about that? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I would be okay with it for sure. Maybe getting some marshals and stuff like that, people to sit in and watch you, like how Bassmaster does as well. I think it would be really beneficial to the organization, to the lakes itself. A lot of people would have a little bit more respect now. Like, okay, the first league to ban FFS, now they adapted to the catch and release program. That would be pretty cool. I'm not sure if that's going to happen this coming up year or the next couple of years, but I think it's something they've probably got together and thought about. It's going to only help the community and all the fisheries around the world.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Justin Copley on TikTok, he said, throw them. I got an 11.6 yesterday on one with a 14.9 personal best. He sent me the picture of that tank, and it is an absolute tank that he caught there. So he's not exaggerating. He backed it up with proof. Brad Silvers. Oh, first of all, let's do your grandson, Kevin, says he wants to know if y'all have any advice for fishing Allatoona. Huh? He just
don't want to hear from me.
Just don't want to hear what you're saying right there. So, Tim, are you the one that fishes Allatoona in this group more than anybody?
Yes,
probably.
Okay, give his grandson some advice real quick.
Let's see. He wants to know any advice for fishing Allatoona. Boy, that's just broad.
Go.
He means on Monday night tournaments.
Monday night tournaments. Okay. Well, you're going to have to find some cuts with some structure out in the middle of it, and probably find your bigger fish there. Up on your ledges, you should be able to pull some keepers in. That's what Kevin and I were doing most of the time. But most of the big fish, if I'm not mistaken, came in cuts offshore, even in the dark.
There you go. Advice from an expert right there. All right, Brad Silvers, what budget glide bait would you suggest for deep water, 20 to 40 feet? How do you prefer to add weight? So, Rob, you can jump on that one too. And then Jason Nelson, I'll get to yours. But that short answer, yes, 100%. All right, go ahead, Brad Silvers. Or Rob, Brad Silvers' question. Budget glide bait.
I like expensive glide baits, so that's probably a not something that you're considering. But I think Big's Custom Baits makes really affordable glide baits that really work really well. They're like between like $60 to like $150. I mean, that's a pretty reasonable price. Also, if you guys know Matthew McBee, he fishes for the NPFL. He's actually a glide bait painter. He does all that stuff. Strike King strike a deal with him, and he now makes glide baits for them. So it's called the Hogfather Junior. I've got a chance to throw some of those things, and they work really, really good.
Yeah, we saw those down at ICAST. And in fact, what did you say his name was again?
Matthew McBee.
Yeah, Matthew. Okay. I actually talked to him via Messenger. Huh?
It's Tater Hog.
Tater Hog, yeah. He's going to come out. He's going to be on the show. We talked to him. I talked to him via Messenger. So he's going to be a guest on the show in the near future. And then, so to answer your question over on TikTok, have the spotted bass messed up the smallmouth on Lake Blue Ridge 100%? And off the record, if you catch a spot in Blue Ridge, get it out of there. Let's see. Jeremiah, when the water is that clear, do you go ultra light and try to finesse them, or do you power fish and try to force a reaction strike? Both work, but what do you prefer?
Lighter line. I mean, when I was up at the river, I had 6 and 8 pound fluorocarbon as a leader. Yeah,
I don't doubt that. Dude, you got a flogger. Did you use a flogger?
I did the first day of practice. I'm like, and it was really hard to adjust. I felt like an idiot, to be honest.
You know why I'm asking that? Because Will Harkins, they put out a picture of Will Harkins, and he's laid across his boat, hanging out, and he's like got his rod up here in one hand, he's got his flogger in the other, and I'm like, that is the most uncomfortable looking fishing I've ever seen in my life. So I was just curious, did you use it in the tournament at all?
No, all the fish I caught, I can see with my own eyes, between 2 feet to about 10 feet.
Good for you, because I'm on the anti-flogger bandwagon. I'm going to pull a Randy Blockett. I feel like if y'all can't use forward-facing sonar, you shouldn't be able to look down in the water through glass. Yeah. That's just me.
No, I thought it was, Will's like after the tournament was over, we got ahead and got a chance to go out there, just me and him and his father, and we had like 28 pounds. It was stupid. But he was telling me about all the negative comments, what people were talking about him. And he goes, Will, he's such a good person.
He is.
Has nothing negative about him. And he goes, he's just like, I don't understand why people are so, just so like this. And I'm like, that's just how it is.
Yeah. I personally don't care, but I was going to say that just to give him a hard time, because he was the one in the picture and all that. It just looks uncomfortable to use to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was uncomfortable when I was trying to do it. I mean, I caught a couple fish doing it, but I'm like, this part of my speech. I was like, this shit sucks,
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's exactly what I thought. I was like, that just, when you've got your chest laying over the side of your boat and all that, first of all, it can't be comfortable.
No.
I know it's effective. But I like the tease on the flogger.
Especially if it's rough out there and there's boats going by and it wakes and you're bouncing, the thing is hitting in your face. You're like, dude, I'm done. I can't. You're gonna get a concussion out there.
Oh, no doubt. So the traveling fisherman on TikTok, what's going on, buddy? Appreciate you joining us tonight. Cameraman Cletus says negative on running the lithium. That's how far behind we are in the comments. Coleman Jones did say he's going to book you for a guide trip. So there you go. I get a small commission. Rob, just a small commission.
That's fine.
I'm just kidding.
You can go up there. I can take you out for free. There you go.
Listen, you just take me fishing someday. That's the way it works. Let's see. Has anyone ever tried to fish the Cast OG? And let's just say a similar style bait for smallies up north. What kind of topwater action can you get with smallmouth bass? Let's put it that way too.
Well, I used on day 2 of practice, I went to a place called Waddington. Part of the river over there in St. Lawrence. And I got in a crazy smallmouth topwater bite. I must have caught like 34 of them. It was freaking insane. But I was throwing a Lucky Craft Sammy.
Oh, yeah.
And they were crushing the heck out of that. Dude, you can probably throw anything out there and they'll eat it. It was that insane. So
I can believe that. That makes perfect sense to me. Guy B, and we'll start with you, Rob, on this one. Now, the traveling fisherman, Zara Puppy Jr. is my favorite for topwater smallies. There you go. That's from TikTok. So there's your suggestion right there. What's the best retrieve for a big glide bait? So what kind of retrieve were you using? And then, John, I'm going to let you answer that.
Like gear ratio? Is he
I think
talking-
like retriever. You like one of those are like half a thing, 1, 2. I mean, any pattern
I
whatsoever.
do different cadences. Like one of my favorite glide baits is the clutch darter, and I swing that thing really, really fast. But like the bigger baits that I have, I really slow and methodical. Like, and especially the type of reel you need to throw is like about everything under a 6-1, 6-1 or a 5-1.
You like it slow like that.
Well, yeah.
All right. What about you, big bait John?
It just personally depends on the bait and how the manufacturer made that bait to work. I've got 900 glide baits to do 500,000 different things.
What about like his voice is almost sexy. That deep voice. I'm telling you, we should do some Hallmark cards for our wives and just let it. You open up the card and it's just like, "Hello, baby."
Yeah.
Yes. Just say that for me one time. "Hello, baby. You're always right."
Hello, baby. You ain't always right.
Oh, listen at you now. Don't get
He's
scared.
married.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, what are you laughing at, Rob?
I mean, Danny, gosh, that sounded so sexy.
He's got that voice, dude. I'm telling you.
You should get a massage therapist. Speak like that and massage you at the same time.
You rub, I'll talk.
Quit lying to him. All that. So no, what I found out. All right, so there you go. So you guys in TikTok in 4 minutes, I'm going to have to get up and do what I got to do and keep the live going. So we'll do that. But real quick story. I was having a bad morning, and I was coming up here in that massage parlor that's right beside our shop, which I've never been to. Honest, never been to. A very older woman came out. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? Life ain't that bad. I could have been the one that just had to give that lady a massage. And then Rob says he used to do that back in the day. And he said, them old women like that, they like to pay a little extra. Ain't that kind of, am I paraphrasing that right from 80,000 feet?
You worded correctly.
They got money. They got money. So we'll sit down and just have a massage podcast one of these days, Rob. And you can tell me some of them stories. We can spill them to the world.
Yeah.
Might not do it on TikTok. Might get banned and all that.
Probably will get banned. Yeah.
You're what?
I said TikTok will probably ban us.
Yeah, I know it. What's your thoughts on translucent colors in some of the ABS glides? This has just turned into a glide bait episode. So what about your thought on translucent colors?
I use all natural colors. And then I love the all white.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, John?
I match the hatch
Match the hatch.
always.
So if it is a translucent style,
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
but you don't like
It'd
it.
definitely work, but if you're fishing a main lake and you're fishing for a trophy size fish, I definitely believe matching the hatch is the best way to go for sure.
Okay. And somebody on TikTok, I can't read your name yet until I go fix that thing, says keep it simple. Bone and bait fish patterns. Makes sense to me. Alex Purse. It's been a long while since it happened, but I want to give Rob a salute for saving that old man that flipped his canoe without a life jacket on. Was it a canoe or a boat?
It was like a 17-foot V-haul.
Yeah, it was it was something that shouldn't have been out there.
I mean, there was people with smaller boats out there. It's just the people that went by them, he waked them. I mean, he said they were literally 6 feet from him, and once they passed them, he flipped over and he was done.
Yeah,
that's what he told me.
But still, kudos to you for being in the right place at the right time and for helping out.
I know it's just crazy. It was such a weird time. I was cruising through this cove, and then I hear a guy yelling for help, and it happened a couple times. But I thought it was, in this cove, I thought there was someone yelling for help at a house. So I'm like looking at the houses and looking around, and I don't see anybody falling. Like that one commercial, I've fallen, I can't get up.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see anybody around me doing that. So a lady just went out on the dock and she yelled out for my name, or not yelled out for me. She yelled out for help, and then I turned around. Obviously you saw the video and everything, but yeah, it's perfect place, perfect time. That video went completely viral. I mean, I gained a lot of followers on that thing. I mean, my social media spiked up because of that. Just that one video. You do
Yeah.
something positive, everybody's all negative all the time, and you do something positive, you get rewarded, for it.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
at the same time, more people are going to be drawn to something negative than positive, and you're going to get more viewership with negativity than you get with positivity. That's just how the world works now.
I got you. Cranking and yanking. Careful, Danny. Sounds like that might be more than a knuckle involved in that scenario. It's a massage part. All right, so here's what we're going to do, because I've got to get up, and you guys on TikTok, I'm going to try to make sure that I resume the live and not cancel it and have to start another one. But while we're doing that here, Kevin's going to do the question of the night. Ain't none of you guys going to answer it. But go ahead. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And then once we get through the question night, you guys that have questions already, you're just going to have to type them again. That's just the way it's got to be, because we can't keep up with them. And I'm sorry for that. But you guys listen to his question. He's going to read it twice, and I'll send the winner. Hell, I'll send you something. I don't know what we're going to send. I'll send you a prize. You ready?
Oh, am I ready?
Are you ready? He's ready tonight, boys.
Hey, his voice, Barry White. That's
Barry White.
Yep.
He's the Caucasian Barry White. I like it. All right, go ahead. Go.
All right. This question has 3 answers. Opening round of the 1991 Illinois Invitational, Mark Menendez's fishing his first day of his professional career, was partnered with Shaw Grigsby. How many rods did Mark bring that morning? What models and lengths were they? I'll read it again. Opening round of the 1991 Illinois Invitational, Mark Menendez, fishing his first day of his professional career, was partnered with Shaw Grigsby. How many rods did Mark bring that morning? What models and lengths were they? So you have 3 different answers there.
All right. And for those of you on TikTok, I hit the wrong button, so it's going to start the live again. So I hope you come back. My bad. All right. So, yeah. So you guys are not going to get that. And
Somebody will.
We'll just keep going. Rob, do you have even a thought of an answer on that? I don't want you to give it if you know it, but when you hear a question like that, do you know it?
No, I was trying to look it up.
Was you really?
I was doing the whole time.
So Justin Copley said, and here I was ready to answer the question in the timeout, but hey, nobody's answered it yet. So read it one more time for the TikTok guys.
All right. Opening round of the 1991 Illinois Invitational, Mark Menendez, fishing his first day of his professional career, was partnered with Shaw Grigsby. How many rods did Mark bring that morning? What models and lengths were they?
Okay, so when you say models,
who makes it?
Who makes it? That's what we want to know. So who made the rods and all that? They definitely weren't 3 cane poles, Doc Holliday. Let's see. I'm going to look for some questions real quick. Rob's going to have to use that on his clients. Fred Ashcraft said, I guess he's talking about the massage kind of thing. And how about this? Nathan Owens does have a question. Bluegills / swim bait versus bait fish color pattern, which is more consistent in deep water? Water.
Swim bait.
The bluegill, but is it bait fish or is it bluegill colored? Which one to you?
Oh, for deeper water?
Yeah.
Look more of a bait fish color. Because, the fish are out there roaming to find bait fish. They're not out there to, get bluegill or shallow.
Okay. Okay. But you know what? We did find on Lake Lanier that a lot of guys were catching spots out of timber earlier in the year. And they had bluegill. They were puking up bluegill out there at a 40. Yeah, so they're there. But I do get. I would say you'll be more consistent with the bait fish.
Yeah, well, bluegill tend to hang around the timber and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
the whole whole fishing cycle right there.
I got you. So he's gonna sit there. He's gonna sit there in the comment section. You guys watch for the right answer that nobody's ever gonna get. And you guys on TikTok, we appreciate you guys. Sorry that I canceled it. We had to start over again, but I'm getting it. I don't know who Kara Pruitt is.
That's Jesse's wife.
Oh, that's Jesse's wife. Well, thank you, honey, because you're absolutely liking it. I love it. Just keep hitting those hearts. Throw me some galaxies. Ain't that what I'm supposed to say? I'm not. I got banned for the last time I asked for galaxies.
I bet you Jesse's on Cara's phone blowing it up right now.
Well, good. That'll work. Anyway, so let me ask you this. while we're waiting for some other questions to come in, as far as the overall season on the NPFL, no, John is her. It's Kara
Oh,
or Cara, however you said it. But I mean, give me your overall take so far. How many y'all got? What, one left?
We got
One
one
maybe
more left. Yep.
one more left. So after that, it's going to be the first season without it all. Give me some pluses. Give me some minuses. If there is any minuses,
there really hasn't been any minuses, to be honest, Danny.
I like that.
It's really been positive. I think we're pretty blessed to have every tournament that we've had. It's set up perfectly. Yeah, there's been a couple cancellations here and there, but other than that, all the lakes that we went to, we didn't have to use it at all. I didn't need it. I didn't need to need it. I mean, one lake, Douglas, would have been pretty cool to have it, just because I've been there so many times, and that was actually my worst finish all season was at that place. But I've been there so many times; it's close to the house. I can sculpt them. I can catch good fish sculpting. So, but I knew what to do to win that, and how to do well. I just wasn't getting any big fish. But if it was any other lake, I mean, like the forward facing sonar, I didn't really have to use it. I didn't really want to use it if I had a chance. I mean, everything get pretty much fished, all power fishing for the most part. But it's been all positive. I mean, I've actually enjoyed it this year.
good.
And for I was a little bit better going into this year. Not able to use it, but it's actually turned out pretty well. And I think everybody can say speak for the same. On my part.
Yeah. So I mean, when it first came out, I was against it. I was against what they were doing. I've kind of since changed my mind.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was very vocal about it. I said, I mean, this is pathetic.
Yeah.
But I mean, like once everybody cooled down and everything, and the dust settled, and then you really think about it, and you're just like, well, if I can do good without it, and I can do good with it, I mean, that should make me very versatile in a lot of ways. So.
Yeah, you did great. I don't know what the hell Kara's doing over there on TikTok, but I'm loving it. So she's like that. And that answer right there should make our buddy Cranking and Yanking very happy, because he doesn't like forward-facing sonar. And so you basically said you've enjoyed the season. You really need it. A lot of power fishing and all that. So that's pretty cool. John G. Wilson wants to know, does anybody throw the Buka baby bull shad?
I've thrown it a couple times.
Just a couple. You throw it a lot, though, don't you?
I had a floating one that I threw the snot out of, but a Zing Pow took it from me.
Okay, so there you go.
Just haven't bought it.
Can we get a new question of the night? Darren Moss wants to know, because I told you guys you wasn't going to answer it.
There's only like 4 people that have tried it.
Yeah, they're like, hell with
That's
that.
true.
Spirit fingers, Kara said. Well, we appreciate your spirit fingers. If that's what you want, that's a new term. Remember that one, Tim. Spirit fingers. What's your go-to lure in hot, muddy water, say 10 to 15 foot deep? And you being a Florida boy, it might not have been muddy necessarily, but it was definitely, what is that, tannic and all that?
Tannic, yep.
Yeah, so Cranking and Yanking wants to know, what's your go-to lure in hot, muddy, 10, 15 foot deep water?
A jig or like a spinnerbait, chatterbait, those 3 things. Maybe a rattle trap, something with a loud knock. Something they can hear at the same time and react to it.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's where he was going. What about you?
Younger me would throw a spinnerbait, but new me would throw a trick shad probably.
Trick shad? Okay, not good. Jerk bait, Georgia Yak Angler says over there. Hey, that makes sense to me. What's Rob's favorite swim bait lake he guides on? So you do Tellico, you do Watts Bar, Loudon, and Chickamauga right now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so of those lakes, when it comes to swim baits, which one's your favorite?
Chick and Tellico, Watts Bar, all of them, honestly. I catch them all with, everywhere around there, I catch them. So, but I fish Tellico a lot, and I can tell you that I've had some pretty epic days throwing a swim bait pretty much all day.
Okay, I believe that. Tennessee's just got good lakes. Like, I don't know. Is there a bad lake in Tennessee?
There's a few out there, but, just kind of like how it is down in Georgia. I mean, when it gets cold and gets the wintertime, the lakes up here are freaking awesome. I mean, I can't wait till it starts getting cool again. I mean, the fish, you catch just big bags. Big fish, big bags. They're very predictable. I'm looking forward to when it gets cold.
Perfect. And guys, remember, like I said at the beginning, if you want to check out Rob's website, you can go to fngl.com, and we have a link now on our website that will take you directly to his. And you absolutely can go book a trip with him if you want to do that, or you can just beg him like me to go free.
We have a winner, I think.
You have a winner? Who's the winner?
Wow.
Silver Punk. Is that who you see?
Hang on. Let me check here.
Are you serious? Somebody actually got the answer?
I think somebody's got this, but I've got to go back and look at this paragraph.
Before Silver Punk?
I don't know. But anyway, while you guys are looking, Ron
Okay.
Swinford wants to know, Rob, what has been the biggest surprise so far for the NPFL season? Any funny thing that happened that led you to finding fish or some kind of circumstance like that? But what's the biggest surprise for the NPFL, your season so far?
The biggest surprise is how good these elite guys really are. I mean,
Are they that good?
yeah, like, dude, they're freaking good, man. You know, I mean, they've been doing it for, a lot longer than I have. I mean, the majority have been doing it a lot longer. And the thing with the elite guys, they fish 9 events every year, plus a bunch of stuff that they do on the side. We only get to fish 6, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but the more time they get to fish. I mean, the 9 tournaments plus the 6 that we have, that's 15 major tournaments they fish throughout the year. I mean, the more time you get to fish and compete like that feeling, the better you get. But those guys that's been the biggest surprise so far. I was really curious with the no forward facing sonar, how those guys would do good. And plus another big surprise, how the bags and how people are catching fish and everything. I thought it was going to be a big dip down in weights and stuff. And really, it's been like the total opposite. A lot of people, the weights have been really good. A lot of people are catching limits. I thought it was going to be a drastic change. I thought it was only going to take this much for a check. And then it's like double that. So it's been pretty cool, man, to see, that's what surprised me the most. A couple funny things that's happened this year and I think he said something about hitting docks. When I was at Eufaula coming back, idling in to check in my boat for the day, I was looking down on my phone and I wasn't paying attention, and I dozed off and I hit a freaking boat dock. So
I saw it.
He
I
saw
saw it.
He saw it.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. I was pretty much an idiot. What sucks is because I have a special mount that sits on my console, so I can hold my phone and able to work it that way without looking down and keeping my eye off the wheel and what's in front of me. But no, I don't know what I was thinking. Plus, it was so hot. I want to look down and get away from the sun, and then boom, I hit the dock. So yeah,
It happens.
it happens.
It happens. And I want to just say this to Kara over there on TikTok. I'm glad you finally gave your finger a rest. Dude, she's bombed it. I mean, there's like 5,000 likes, and she's got 4,000 of them. It was just flying. Them hearts were flying.
Good
So
Lord.
I know it. She's a
Silver Punk still the winner.
Yes, sir.
All right, Silver Punk, you won. 5 to 6 lose. A 5-6 lose. A 6-foot lose. A 7-foot Browning, and a 7.6 Fenwick.
4 rods.
4 rods. So I don't know how you found that, but kudos to you. I think you've won before, so I'll send you something. I don't know. We'll think about it. But no, I got to give him something for that one.
Yeah.
So Traveling Fisherman says congratulations right there. Let's see. Darren Moss. Rob, what are you most excited to try from iCast? So I didn't see you down there, but I'm sure you know some of the baits that were talked about and everything. Do you got one that you're looking forward to trying?
Not precisely, no, because I didn't go. I mean, I should at least went for one day, but my wife had her right hip surgery later on that week, and I just needed to be home. My mom flew in to try to help out and everything, and I was busy. There was no time for me to. It would have been me flying that morning, stay there for a couple hours, getting on the plane that night, and coming back home. So it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I got you. No, I get it. I get it. That family first, you got to do that kind of stuff. And Silver Punk, I ain't sending you no Douglas rod. He says, I'll take another Douglas rod, please. Let's see. Far Dog, our buddy from Oklahoma. This will be a good long one, so I can go to the bathroom during this one. Rob, when you are side imaging, how far out do you consistently shoot out each side, and what color palette do you find you use the most? And you need to talk for at least 45 seconds on
And
this
what
one.
unit?
And what unit? Yeah, about your graph. Tell everybody about your graph.
Okay, so I use 2 different units. I have a Lowrance HDS Live Pro, and then I use the Humminbird Helix 12. For side scanning, I use my Humminbird. I think Humminbird has the best, with mega imaging and all that stuff. They have the best side scan, in my opinion. So I set mine about 100 feet, 80 to 100 feet, depending on how shallow and deep I get. And then usually it's palette. It's like the third palette, which is black background and like more of like a orange, like light brownish shading on the bottom and stuff. I think it's a very basic, popular palette that a lot of people use. I know people use different ones, but for that, and especially for like my active target for forward facing sonar, I use that same palette, which is, I think it's the third one. So yep, that's what I use consistently.
Keep talking.
Keep talking. Okay. You want to talk about massagers?
Yeah, no, actually, DW41956. I had to take care of something I couldn't do on camera at TikTok. What's your favorite swim bait?
My favorite one. I like Mega Bass a lot. And there's a custom guy that makes my swim baits for me here in Knoxville. He doesn't really have a company. He just custom makes them and pours them, and he gives them to me for me to try. And he only does it for a few people. I'm going to keep that hush hush because it's a little secret on my part. Same thing with my little creature baits and stuff like that I've customized and stuff. And the swim bait, I keep that hush hush.
Why?
I can't.
Rob.
I'll show you them, and they look freaking badass, man. I'm telling you.
I know. I get it. All right, Scott, have we missed any questions since I've been gone?
No, he did good too.
I know he did well. I just had to take a little more time. Are we caught up on the questions?
Pretty much.
Pretty much caught up on the questions. Okay.
Braves are winning.
Then the Braves are winning. That's a miracle. I love the Braves. I'm not going to fuss anything. So let me ask you this, because you lived in Georgia last year, and what was pretty cool was, you lived in Florida to start with. You moved up to Georgia because you wanted to learn these highland reservoirs and all that to help further your professional career. Now you've moved up to Tennessee. I assume you're trying to do the same thing. With each different step, what have you learned? Starting from Florida to Georgia and then Georgia to Tennessee. And which state had the hardest learning curve?
I think with the first move going to Georgia, because fishing shallow my whole life and then going to all these deep reservoirs, that was a big learning curve. I'm not saying you can't catch them, power fishing and fishing shallow on these lakes. You can, but, when forward facing sonar came out, I didn't use it like right away. I was very stubborn and still did my shallow thing and stuff like that. And I realized I wasn't catching anything or I wasn't doing really well. Then I had to adapt offshore. And then it took me about a year to, fishing all the different seasons. And once I got that under my belt, I was able to really learn, both sides of, fish do go up shallow certain times of the year and then they go offshore. And then going up to Tennessee, it's kind of been similar to the same thing, but up here we have more smallmouth. There's certain type of lakes that fish kind of like how the Great Lakes fish, like the smallmouth, how they set up and stuff. Tellico, they set up a lot like Great Lakes smallmouth and what they do and everything. That's why I was able to do that good in St. Lawrence River, because I've just become really accustomed to fishing it up here in Tennessee. But like learning, I'm pretty blessed to learn how to fish shallow and fish grass, and then able to come up here and trying to transition to doing something differently and then adapting it and doing really well. And then, Tennessee, we got, current The Tennessee ledge during the summertime where they set up differently. I got accustomed to using A rigs a lot up here because that's a big thing in Alabama and Tennessee. They use a lot of Alabama rigs. Caught some really big fish during the winter doing that. And then, obviously your minnow style jig head baits work really good up here like they do in Georgia and stuff. But I think in for instance, in Tennessee, like you can get away with throwing a jig head minnow probably all year long. And I know like in Georgia, there's only certain times of the year where they like really attack it. And then I know in the summertime, I don't really get bit very well throwing a minnow in Georgia at all. So that's something that's unique over here that I've gotten accustomed to. But for the most part, it's, especially going up north, up in St. Lawrence, it's a whole different thing, compared to anywhere I've fished in the United States. And then like last year, the last 3 years, we got the chance to fish Saginaw. I got to chase smallmouth up there as well, but the largemouth produced better for me, and I was able to, get good checks every time I went up there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, I know I can't see it now, but I know there was a comment from the traveling fisherman. He said that he has been to 12 lakes. His biggest learning curve was Vermont, Lake Champlain. I believe that's what it was. And have you fished that lake yet?
I have
Champlain?
not gotten to fish that. Not yet.
12 states. He's fished 12 states. Hence his title, traveling fisherman, which makes sense. But let me ask you this, going about what you just said there. If I was a guy and I just want to get started and I want to have the goal of being a professional fisherman, Florida, Georgia, or Tennessee as a starting point, which would better prepare me to be to fish the NPFL or hopefully make the Bassmaster Elites or, whatever, of those 3 states that you've lived in?
Tennessee.
Just because of the different variety of fish and different
there's so much different things. There's a lot of lakes that are shallow. There's a lot of lakes that are deep. Ledge fishing, the current, the Tennessee River, these deep highland reservoirs. There's more of that here than there is in Georgia. Georgia, you got 75% of the lakes are fish herring lakes. You know what I mean? Besides, Oconee, Sinclair, and then Seminole and Eufaula. But you got Hartwell, you got Lanier, you got all the North Georgia lakes, Allatoon. Majority of the lakes fish, deep and stuff, the herring lakes and stuff like that. It's
Right.
I would say Tennessee gives you a better variety of fishermen.
That makes sense.
Alabama, same thing. Alabama, Tennessee, those 2 states really push out a lot of big pros.
They do. All right, now I'm going to ask you this because did you watch the lunch break today?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you catch the top 30?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Notley was 10.
Notley was 10. Lanier, okay, let me ask you this. If you had to pick a lake in Georgia to be the number 1 lake in Georgia, what would you pick?
It probably would be Lanier or Hartwell.
Yeah. Okay, Hartwell on these fools from Philadelphia, their list, Hartwell got number 1. Lanier got number 5. Allatoona was 6. But like you mentioned, like Eufaula and all that. What was Eufaula? Tim, what was it? 20-something?
I don't remember. The list is laying right over there on the counter.
It was ridiculous. So I was just curious, your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you say
rank your top 5 lakes in Georgia.
Hartwell, Lanier, Notley, Chattooga, Burton, and Blue Ridge.
Okay, so you said Blue Ridge, top 5 lake.
Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge is freaking awesome, man. If you know how to fish it. Here's the thing about Blue Ridge and Burton. Okay, those 2 freaking coolest lakes ever. They don't have any stripers. They don't have junk fish. So when you want to use forward face sonar, majority of the time it's a bass. Okay, so it's pretty easy to target them. There's no junk fish there, which makes it unique. Out of all these lakes in Georgia, that's the 2 lakes that I really, really like and really enjoy.
Yeah, it was funny. Blue Ridge got ranked 20th.
That's wild.
Yeah, Burton got ranked 11th. But yeah, the top 5 in descending order from number 5 down: Lake Lanier, then Clarks Hill, Seminole, Oconee, and Hartwell. I think I could go with all those, depending on what you like. But Oconee, I don't think belongs in the top 5. Have you fished Oconee?
I'm surprised Chattooga is not in the top 5.
Chattooga was 17th.
That's sad.
These guys have never been to Georgia. They don't know it, but I mean, still. Blue Ridge has some good views too. It's beautiful up there. Unless you're the guys from New York, and then Lake Allatoona is the beautifulest lake in
Lake
Georgia.
Allatoona being number 6 is a red flag on that list just to start with.
I agree with that. Georgia Yak Angler says number 5, Burton, number 4, Tuna, number 3, Blue Ridge, number 2, Hartwell, number 1, Lanier. Far Dog wants to know, Rob, would you prefer a football head jig or standard jigs over a wobble head type lure, and why? I feel like I covered 2 times more water with a biffle bug.
I know I threw a football jig a lot when I was in Georgia, especially in the wintertime when I'm dragging it offshore. And then, you know, the typical flipping jig that you can flip during docks as well. So I fished Notley a lot when I was out there. So, you know, you can fish offshore, but you can also fish shallow. There's a lot of largemouth that go up shallow and pitching jigs up against the docks. I like wobble heads here in Tennessee. Wobble heads work really, really well. I figured that out pretty darn quick, especially the beginning of the summer when fish are starting to go ledge fishing and stuff. Instead of throwing a giggy head, I'll throw a wobble head, and with the big old, 10-inch worm and stuff like that, and I'll wreck them that way.
So I'm going to ask you, because it's my job, what are you putting on the back of your wobble head?
10-inch worm.
Oh, did you say 10-inch worm?
Yeah.
I missed it. I was thinking of the question and totally forgot the answer.
Big bait.
Big bait. Okay. All right. Well, you know what do you throw, Tim? You don't throw a 10-inch worm on your wobble head.
No, I'll throw a critter bait of some sort.
And you're burning it.
Yeah, fast as you can get it. Well, I mean, in warm water. Yeah,
Keep
if
it on the
if
bottom.
it's hot water, yeah, you want it to come smoking by.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
You'll get a reaction strike instead of just them nosing around looking at it.
Ron Swinford wants to know, coming from Florida, have you had to adjust to how you fish grass going up the Chick?
No, not at all. When I punch mats up in Chickamauga, I don't get them to bite as well than I did in Florida. So I kind of steered off of doing that and throwing the frog and throwing the chatterbait up against the grass, up against the matted stuff, the hydrilla, works all the time. So, yeah.
Okay. King of Bass wants to know how heavy of a wobble head.
3/8 to a half ounce.
Okay, it's pretty simple stuff. Let's see. Nathan Owens wants to know, and this I'm gonna find this interesting too. You being from Florida, Texas rig or a jig?
Texas rig shallow, jig deeper.
Okay, and on your Texas rig, are you pinning your weights or doing anything like that? Do you put a glass bead, or is it just how do you rig your Texas rig up?
I don't do the glass bead. The only time I do a glass bead is Carolina rigging, but I'll just put a bobber stopper, your bullet weight, and your hook, in a worm or crawdad or Senko.
I got you. Now, Kevin muffled under his voiceover. He goes, Texas rig. Is that your personal preference, or is that what you were thinking Rob would answer?
No, that's my preference too. Florida.
From being from Florida, that's why I was curious, because I mean you're down in Florida. Did you you threw a Texas rig a lot down in Florida, right?
Yep.
You're from Okeechobee area.
I flip jigs and I flip Texas rig. I did both. I covered water. With Florida, it's all about covering water.
Okay. What's your favorite brand of soft plastics to put on your Texas rig?
Bruiser baits.
I knew it was going to be Bruiser baits. What's the model that you use from Bruiser?
For crawdads up in Florida, I like to throw the intruder. It's like a black and blue intruder, and then there's a knockout color, which is black on one side, and then it's black and blue with like a silver glitter on the other side. I mean, I've caught so many big fish throwing those things. Flipping mats. I like to use a lot of punch skirts, like half ounce, 3/4 ounce punch skirts with the jig skirt, and then the intruder. I mean, they went crazy with that. The thing with the punch skirt that I like a lot more is that it doesn't get hung up like a jig. They do bite jigs a lot there. I throw a medlock jig. Medlock jigs are really very popular in Florida.
Okay.
And those two type of baits that I would throw a lot in Florida.
Okay. Now Nathan Owens took that question and went one step further. Carolina rig or Texas rig?
Texas rig.
Do you even throw the Carolina any?
If we're being honest. I threw it for like 1 hour when I was at St. Lawrence, and I caught a couple dinks, and I'm like, this crap sucks. I'm done.
Now, listen, anytime you need to jump in here with a question for him, because I know we ain't talking,
I'm just listening, man.
you just
I'm
listen and try to
soaking
absorb
in.
it all like that. How much importance do you give to color of your baits when it comes to your jigs and your soft plastics? We talked about it with glide baits and all that. You're like bait fish, those things. But when it comes to throwing a jig, throwing a Texas rig, do you tend to stay with standard colors, or do you all over the place?
I have a couple different colors that I use all through the United States, and I keep them the same. I just rotate them. Excuse me, green pumpkin. A lot of jigs that you made for me, Danny. I like the ones with purple and gray skirts. I do really good with those. Your PBJ colors work really good, and black and blue. I love black and blue. I mean, those four: green pumpkin, orange, black and blue. I like to throw the PBJ, like a little bit of purple, green, brown to it. That mimics a little bit of a bluegill. Those 5 type of styles, I like to throw all the time,
Yes.
all over the country. I even throw, when I was up north, St. Lawrence, I threw a lot of black jigs, like little mini black jigs. And then what I'll do is I'll get a black Senko and cut a quarter off of it and use it as a trailer and put a little toothpick on top of it. And when I jigged it across, the tail looked up kind of like a Ned rig in a sense, but it was a jig.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, little hair leg jig and stuff. Little secret of mine. That's enough secrets for tonight.
That's what I was going to say. He let something out of the bag. We got something out of him tonight. No, I get it. If you could only fish with one color for the rest of your life, what would it be? You only get one color. No matter what bait you're throwing, you get one color. What would it be?
White.
Oh,
Damn, I was not expecting that.
huh? No, I didn't have.
expecting
I
that.
did not have that on my bingo card there, Rob. I would have thought you'd have gone with the standard green pumpkin, June bug, something like that. Why are you saying white? I guess because of the spinner baits and everything.
Spinner baits, trailers. I like flukes.
That makes sense now.
I've caught literally a fish on a fluke besides Sandy Cooper. My biggest smallmouth at St. Lawrence River, I caught it on that rat shad fluke that I showed you a couple times.
Yep.
I crushed a lot of big fish this year with that darn thing. A lot of big smallmouth here in Tennessee as well. They crushed that thing.
Okay, now let me rephrase my question. When it comes to a jig or a worm, you only get one color for the rest of your life. What are you throwing? Because I know you ain't throwing no white jigs.
A black and blue jig.
Black and blue. Why is that?
I feel like you can use a black and blue anywhere. Clean water and dirty water, and it shows up really good in dirty water. It just always has.
Yeah.
I mean, I threw black and blue my whole life when I was Okeechobee, and tannic water. That water's different. So, like, a black and blue works really good up north. I threw it up in Black Lake when I was up there in New York. Caught fish doing that. I mean, black and blue.
You'd be surprised at how many guys on Lake Lanier throw a black and blue jig year round. That's the only color they'll throw, and they catch fish and they smash them. We have all these, I'm a green pumpkin purple kind of guy and all that, but I know some guys that is all they're going to order year round, and I know they fish Carter's, maybe Notley and all, but all these Highland Reservoir lakes, and they're throwing a black and blue year round, and we're considered kind of clear water.
And I've wrecked them on a black and blue jig and Notley. Wrecked them.
As your Notley advice for today, wrecked them. All right, so Jonah wants to know, if and when does a hair jig come into play?
I used a hair jig quite a bit when I was in St. Lawrence. What I would do is a black hair jig, and I will take a flatworm and cut a half of it off and use it as a tip for a scent. And plus, it gave it a little bit more weight, so when you were casting it, you can cast a little further. Big Daddy Custom Baits makes a really cool hair jig, and I like to use hair jigs a lot when I'm up here in Tennessee. I've gotten a couple hammers up here told me the hair jig is kind of like a little. That's another secret I'm going to give away tonight.
There we go. Number 2.
Bait, that technique that you can use, especially if they're so accustomed to seeing a jig head minnow. A hair jig is a little bit different.
Okay, I love it. Rob's such a good guy, dropping them off every once in a while. Bar Dog wants to know, when will the 2026 NPFL schedule drop, and what two lakes would you love to see on the schedule if you could put them on there?
I do not know when the schedule is going to come out, and I'm hoping it comes out before we get our next tournament, which is in Logan Martin at the end of September. So I think anytime now till before the next tournament, before the last tournament, now that Bass, BBT, MLF Invitationals, they've kind of released their schedules. And that's what's cool about NPFL is like they're not catering the elites or the guys that want to fish both leagues and that kind of thing. What they want to do is they're smart enough to not overlap these tournaments with other tours, because then you get a chance to view only the NPFL. Now you get a chance to view Bass by itself, and then view BBT. And if you put tournaments on top of each other, then you're going to get a divided division. And now that all those schedules got released, they can work around it. So I'm hoping it comes out pretty soon. But for the two lakes that I would love to see, and I always say it every year, Lake Okeechobee is my number one, and I want to go back to St. Lawrence River.
Yeah, that makes sense. Were you surprised that Bass stayed out of Florida and Texas?
No, I mean they do that. I mean, a couple years ago, I think they might have did that one time.
Right.
I mean, we haven't been back to Florida. I mean, we were supposed to go last year at St. John's, but that got canceled because of Hurricane Helene. But,
right.
We haven't been back to Florida for a couple years, for 3 years, I think, or something like that. So it's good for a change,
I got you.
It's good to have a different variety and stuff.
Yeah. I agree. Now, did you have a question?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. So Nathan Owens wants to know, how would you fish that jig in deep water on Hartwell? Would you pop it or drag it or both? And I guess we're back to the hair jig thing.
No, that's a jig, not a hair jig.
Is it just a jig?
Yeah.
Oh, how would you fish that one then in deep water on Hartwell? Would you pop it or drag it or both?
Do both. Drag it. I drag it majority of the time, then pop it up and down. So.
Okay. All right. So Phil Hutchinson, he's our cold water guy, and I can see him asking this question. He was asking David Weaver, would you rather catch any browns or steelhead as a bycatch? And they had a conversation going. If you weren't, I'm going to jump on that. If you weren't fishing for bass, what would you like to catch? What other species gets Rob's, motor running?
Crappie.
You like the crappie?
I love catching crappie.
You like to eat them?
Oh, dude, I love eating them. And I catch some giant ones during the wintertime here in Tennessee, like absolute studs, like 2 to 3 pounds crappie.
Really? Okay. But you do like to eat them?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I do too. What's your favorite way to eat crappie? And it is crappie, not crappie.
Crappie, specks.
Specks. I knew. Well, from Florida, I knew he was going to say specks.
Yeah.
Huh?
Fry them up. Everything
Fry
tastes
'em up?
fried up. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. You put enough that I can't eat fried food.
I like catching walleye too. That's a fun fish to catch and eat. I mean, they're freaking phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Is that big up there in Tennessee? They got a lot of walleye.
I've caught some big walleye. My biggest one was like a 27-incher.
Wow, that is a big one like that. Let's see. I think we might have caught up on the questions. Have we caught up? Sac-a-lait, Phil. That's because you're from Louisiana. You're not from Louisiana, but that's what them Cajuns call that. David Weaver says there's some nice crappie in New York also, but they would call them crappie. They would call them crappie. Do you think a bank angler with 40 plus years of experience could compete professionally? And then real quick before it goes off, Chris Garrison said crappie are amazing, especially with hush puppies. Yeah, they are, dude. No doubt. But what do you think about somebody transitioning from bank fishing to getting in a boat? Is there enough knowledge that you can gain there to maybe fish, maybe not the Bassmaster Elites or something like that, but at a higher level?
You got to start somewhere if you want to do that. So you got to start on the boat. You're not going to compete in a tournament bank fishing. It's going to be a learning curve. Navigation, getting the right GPS and knowing where you're going, so you're not running into things. That's a big learning curve right there. It's different. Once you get on the big water, you get a little bit overwhelmed. You're used to just paralleling a bank or casting across of it. getting out there for the first time, it's you get, the butterflies and everything because it's the first time, but it's going to be a little overwhelming, a little learning curve. If it's the first time doing it, I would really fish points. That's a good start. Fish points, fish around the points, jump to the next point, that kind of thing. Kind of get, familiar with your surroundings and stuff, especially going to a new lake that you've never been before. Make sure you go online and Google like Blue Ridge in wintertime. See if someone put a YouTube out for that, or Lake Lanier in the summertime. What are the best baits to use? I know people put YouTube videos and instructional videos out there. And that's what I would do if the first time going on a boat and trying to compete and stuff like that. The internet is so special now that we have so much information that we could get out there. And then you could be like Scott Martin, who buys his information as well. So
I knew it was coming. Eventually, I knew it was coming.
I just wanted to make you guys laugh.
I am laughing.
I didn't mean that, Scott. I'm sorry. So
you lie like a dog. You know what? I tell you what. One of the most commented videos we've ever put out was that one with you on that one. You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you know the one I'm talking about. Got a ton of comments on that one, but that's funny.
Can't imagine why.
I don't know why. He was a little spirited that night. Hey, you just speaking truth.
Whatever's what it is.
Everybody else can speak their opinion, so can Rob. And I like Rob better than the other one, so it doesn't matter. Rob, who makes the best preacher type jigs? I've been dying to get into that type of fishing, but I want one with long hairs. So I'm going to assume a preacher type jig is a hair jig. Are we correct on that? Do you think I'm pretty close with that?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard one called a preacher.
Preacher.
Well, he's from Oklahoma. He's from Oklahoma, and they speak different out there anyway.
Oh.
I do know that Dana with SEP Fishing, he's from out in Oklahoma and all that, and he brought that hair jig over to Lanier, but it's from walleye fishing out there. So he basically brought over a walleye style. He won't, still to this day, won't tell me the exact color of the head style. I just know it's a walleye style bait, and he has brought that over to Lanier, and he's done very well with it. So I assume him being from Oklahoma, that's what he's talking about.
I think he asked something else about Oklahoma. He says, what do you wish you could go back and do over on Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma? Well, not suck it up on day 2.
Oh, that's right. He did. I'm sorry, Far Dog. I missed that one. Not suck it up on day 2. Kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Kind of obvious there. Chris Garrison, when are y'all going to come fish Gunnersville with me? I'm a retired U.S. Army veteran, lots of free time. Well, we got a buddy, Dave Alders, that has a house over there. We're about time for another long guys weekend.
We can make that happen.
Plan one.
Is he planning one?
I think he is.
So, Chris Garrison, what we'll do is we'll find out.
If not, he will be.
If not, we're going to tell him
He
tomorrow.
is now.
He is now.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know. But Gunnersville, man. Have you fished Gunnersville a lot, Rob?
No, I've never got the chance, though, but I am going to go this fall. When the season's over, I think the fall over there, I hear just people cry. Fall and wintertime is like the best time to go.
Dude, seriously, like there is grass and then there's Gunnersville.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen more grass in one spot. We only fished a small portion of the lake.
We fished a damn
He needs to go
hurricane.
to Okeechobee, doesn't he, Rob?
Yeah, listen, well, yeah, I know,
Okeechobee's where
but
it's at.
it was during the hurricane that we were there. But that didn't change the amount of grass that was in that lake. It's ridiculously stupid. Is there more grass in Okeechobee than Gunnersville?
Absolutely.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I've never fished-
I mean, there's a lot of grass on Gunnersville and Okeechobee, but there's a lot more submerged grass in Gunnersville. Okeechobee has a lot of pencil reeds, buggy whips, cattails, Kissimmee grass, grader grass. The submerged grass has taken a hit because over the last couple of years, we've had really high waters in Okeechobee. And so how Okeechobee works with submerged grass, you got companies out there called Applied Aquatics that go out there and spray the lakes. Okay. And they spray like the hyacinth mats, and they also spray everything else. And then they spray the submerged grass because it becomes invasive. It starts multiplying and it gets too thick. And a lot of people complain that they can't run boats on boat trails because everything is covered with this grass. That's another topic. So, or another story another rabbit hole that we can go down to. So now Okeechobee is going down in depth, which is allowing sun to penetrate the bottom, which allows the submerged grass to come up. So from what the people have told me, last week I was told that the submerged grass is starting to come back. And once it gets back rolling again, they'll slowly raise the water back up to like 12 to 13 feet, which Okeechobee fishes best 11 to 13 feet. You catch absolute giants that way because because it's such a giant fish bowl that fish get pushed from the shallows out to the edge of the grass. So the fish get predictable and you can really catch them that way easier.
Okay. So Chris says Gunnersville means eelgrass in Greek. I can believe it.
Yeah, that stuff's horrible.
It is horrible. But did you hear Rob right then and there? He laid off like 6 different types of grass that Okeechobee had.
You can
Straight
drive
off,
2-3 miles from the shore in Okeechobee and still be in grass.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can
Going
believe it.
out.
I can believe it. It's ridiculous. Last question from Far Dog. Rob and I truly admire the way you present yourself as a pro angler and your fishing style. What's the hardest part of being a fishing guide?
Is expectations, is people thinking you're going to go out there and catch the biggest fish, a lot of fish, and there'll be days that you might not do that. And it's hard to please everybody when it comes to guiding. That's really the hardest part about being a fishing guide. It's not that no one can cast a rod or backlashes, your reels and stuff like that. Or, they don't know what they're doing. You can just teach them that way and they can learn. Or you can just do it for them and just give them the rod once you get a fish on. But the hardest part of being a guide is the expectations. Is people expect you're going to go out there and catch a world record fish, or you're going to catch the biggest fish or the most fish. A lot of times you might have a few fish that day. It's just, Mother Nature plays a lot in that role. If it's windy, it's going to be a little bit harder to kind of position the boat. This time of the year when it's so scorching hot, fish, the bite shuts down at a certain time. It's different. Like I love guiding in the wintertime because I can tell you this, even when it gets really frigid cold, I can still catch them. I mean, I caught my PB in like 36 degree water or 36 air temperature, January 2nd this year. It was a 10-4 largemouth in Tellico. The water temperature was 48 degrees. Okay. I mean, fishing in the wintertime, whether it's Tennessee and Georgia, to me is the best.
Yeah.
Danny, you know that. Truly, you know that.
Oh, yeah. I know that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Which is totally different than the way I was raised. Because, just throwing farm ponds when I was little, we didn't fish in the wintertime. And then you get into this and see it, and you're like, good Lord, the big bags come when it's cold. John Long, yes, we still talk about electric only from time to time on this channel. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Do you throw any saltwater baits while you're bass fishing?
No, I do not.
You don't mess with that. Chris Crosby wants to know, Rob, when are you starting to look for bass on the Harris chain in December, or where are you starting on the Harris chain in December if you were going?
So that time of the year, you're going to get the first wave of spawners coming in. You got pre-spawn, spawn, the beginning of it. And I know just historically from fishing Harris chain and like Okeechobee and Kissimmee, that first wave of spawners, you're going to get your biggest bags. Usually the bigger fish spawn early and get it over with and they're done. Sometimes they do twice in 1 year. They do it in the beginning and they do it at the very end. So what I would do is target and going up shallow and start flipping the outside edge because fish are staging in the outside, getting ready to move up. So that's where I would start looking for bass on a Harris chain. If you're at like Lake Apaca is a really popular lake. You have to go through a bunch of lakes. You got to lock through to get there. But that area, Apaca, provides very, very good areas for fish to set up, staging in the outside edge. And then, usually the first couple of wavelengths. And what I mean by that, meaning there's a lot of boat channels and there's stages of grass that go up and they go up to the to the hard line where the bank is. And those boat lanes, usually the first and second areas of grass and stuff like that, fish will stage up because fish want to move up way up to the bank and start spawning. But they'll stage up in those outside areas. So that's what I would do. I would target that as well. The Harris, Lake Harris sets up kind of like Apaca, it doesn't have as much grass like it does. But I know there's like submerged grass out there that if you can find that, fish will stage up there for pre-spawn before they move up in spawning.
Okay. And Chris Garrison, if you're still watching on TikTok, Dave Aldridge, our buddy with the house on Gunnersville, said, y'all let me know when you want to come. We can arrange that, and he still might be able to cook. You'd be lucky if you get over there and get to eat some of his stuff. So, Chris Garrison, reach out to me on Facebook, Danny Pruitt, and we'll see if we can arrange a time because we'd love to meet you guys over in Alabama. Last question of the night from Jeremiah. Best big bass lure during the winter months. I think I already know which ones you're going to say. And, John, I want you to answer this question too. Rob, best big bass lure during the winter months.
I got two baits. I got the Alabama rig is a big bass lure. I catch absolute giants during the winter months with that. I literally throw that about 75% of the time. But if I'm going to throw a glide bait, I'm going to throw a big old white 10-inch custom, probably like a clutch baby boss or the boss, the big one. Dude, sometimes in the wintertime, I can get the really big, like 6 to 8 pound largemouth on chicken mogwai to bite that.
That's awesome. All right, John, you. And John Long says, got to throw that mag draft. So what about you?
I'll be honest with you. I'll probably throw an A-rig with some giant swim baits on it. And you think that's insane, but when I say giant swim baits, I mean like 6-7 inch soft plastic swim baits.
Yeah, you're throwing a big A-rig.
Giant
A-rig.
Bend the bars, man.
Bend the bars.
Or just a big trick shad. I'll weight it down, work it slow.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
That's awesome. Far Dog wants to know how bad the pythons truly are in Florida.
Terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're big.
Alligators.
I've seen 12-footers out there one time roaming around. I'm not exaggerating either.
Hey, I went hunting for them in Puerto Rico.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. So we went down and filmed an episode of the Real American Road Trip down in Puerto Rico, and they took us up to the mountains, which is rainforest, and we got in with a group of people, and we went out at night hunting pythons. Biggest one I caught that night was only 6.5 foot, or that we was with them. But they had some 16-footers in boxes and stuff. They have to do it because they're eating all the locals' chickens and everything. Wow. And the way they hunt them, unless somebody calls for them during the middle of the day and says they got one in the chicken pen, at night they get flashlights. They drive around in their car and they're spotlighting. The snakes, but the snake's eyes don't reflect like deer do. They're looking for patterns as they're driving because at night the snakes are attracted to the road. And so they're driving by the road looking up, just 10, 15 foot up in the woods or rainforest. And if they see a pattern that's different, they slam on them brakes, they get out and go get it. And they catch pythons, dude. That's something I think we need to have an F&GO trip and take all you guys to do.
That'd be fun.
Until you've experienced grabbing pythons and stuff like that and going with them crazy Puerto Ricans. No, they ain't allowed to shoot them either. Can't do that. You got to catch them live.
I had a good buddy of mine in high school that I'm really good friends with. They're twins. They're called the Florida Everglades Python Snatchers. And I can get you set up with them down there in the Everglades.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So, one more question, and this is for spy baits on Lanier. Any advice as to use a spy bait on Lake Lanier? I don't throw a spy bait that often. I know, John, you probably don't because that's way too small for anything you throw. When you fish Lanier, did you mess with the spy baits?
Yeah, I did really good during the winter times with that. In Lake Blue Ridge, I can wreck them with the spy baits. Another little trick. I would throw it kind of like a Kitech in a way. Like you let it sink, and once you get their attention, start reeling it really slow and stuff, and they'll come up and snatch it.
So there you go. So anyway, all right, with that, we're going to let you guys go and all that. So, Rob, first of all, number one, I'm sorry that I didn't send you the link in time. I honestly just read it wrong. I thought you were coming down here. Actually, I told him, I said, y'all watch for Rob coming in, because we had the doors locked and all that. My fault totally, dude. I just didn't read the text all the way through. But every time you come on the show, I love it. And you're always welcome to come in. We appreciate you. And I can't thank you enough for dropping a few juicy bits and everything, but coming on answering everybody's questions. You're always one of the best to do that. So I want to personally say thank you very much for spending some time with us.
No, I appreciate it. And I do got to go down there one time. One day I'm just going to come in and surprise you guys. So it's going to be sporadic.
Let's do it. We'll go get a massage or something. How about that?
Yeah, just give the lady a call next door. Does she have eyes
Next
like
door
this?
like that. No. I don't know. I ain't never been in there. I don't know.
Rob had a trick question. He was going to, if you were like, yeah, I'd be like, aha.
Yeah, I don't know if she's one of those that throw the monkey on the back of your neck while she's rubbing her back. I don't know. I don't know what it's all about. But anyway, so appreciate you, dude. And again, John was just, he was here, and I said, jump on. He didn't plan on tonight, but I appreciate you jumping on, and that's the way we work here. That's how all these guys.
Man.
That's how it works. If I got an empty seat and you're sitting back here, you're going to jump on. So, Father Time, with your almost impossible question of the night, you did good. And Tim, as always, you ran the board like a true professional back there. So, guys, listen, thank you for joining us on the live well tonight. And follow Rob again on his journey with the NPFL, but also go to fngo.com, hit the Our Partners page, go down there and check out Big League Charters. I got the links and everything. And we're going to end up on our Fish North Georgia group page. I'm going to have a pin post with everybody's links as well of all our partners. You can check Rob out there. And then we'll put them here in the YouTube description if I ever get around to it as well. So you guys, we appreciate you joining us tomorrow at 12. Join me for the lunch break. It'll be the last one of the week. We'll have some fun with that. And then we're all going to go fishing this weekend. And if we don't see you tomorrow and you're on the water this weekend, as always, please be careful out there because we want to see you again. And we appreciate you. And with that, we're going to go home. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.